Uh-oh. Okay, we'll start with this. The updates to the women's ring IQ pound-for-pound list based on this weekend's action. 2 new WBO champions were crowned at 2 separate weights in the lightweight division and the welterweight division. Let's talk about that. This update is a bit more awkward than most and will require some clarification, and even then, I don't expect everybody to agree with it. Both champions, Terry Harper and Michaela Mayer, return to the ring IQ pound-for-pound list in the number 6 and number 8 spots. Terry Harper returns at number 6, Michaela Mayer at number 8. Both behind Alicia Baumgartner, who was also in action this weekend, defending the undisputed crown successfully. The assigned ranks are awkward in their own way. Awkward because Terry's been a champion at 3 weights to Alicia, who's been a champion in 1. Michaela's been a champion in 2. Both Terry and Michaela have taken more belts from more world champions, reigning world champions, than Alicia has. But if Alicia ranks in just ahead of them, it's because she beat them both. It's because she knocked out Terry Harper and decisioned Michaela Mayer. So in spite of them having slightly more career accolades than she does, enough time hasn't passed and enough hasn't been accomplished that it would make sense to place them ahead of her. It still wouldn't. Because when push came to shove and they actually fought, she actually beat them, proving that she is the better fighter. Made awkward because they've been champions at more weights than she has and beaten more champions than she has. Terry ranking in ahead of Michaela Mayer might also be perceived as being awkward because Terry's been stopped more times than Michaela. Michaela's never been stopped. Never knocked out, never knocked down. Though what sets them apart is while they both beat 3 champions, 3 reigning champions, and took their belts, Terry's been a champion at more weights than Michaela. She's been a champion at 130 pounds, a champion at 154, now a champion at 135, whereas Michaela has only ever been a champion at 130 and 147. 2 divisions. If they fought, I think Michaela would beat Terry Harper. I believe that Michaela Mayer is a better, more durable fighter and a crafty, more fundamentally sound boxer than Terry Harper. But that's just what I think. That's not what I know. That's not a fact. What makes it awkward is I think most people would go with Michaela to beat Terry Harper. I think most people think Michaela beat Natasha Jonas, who's ranked ahead of her at number 7. But that's not the official outcome. That's just what I think. Perhaps what we think. Our opinion. The Ring IQ pound-for-pound list is not governed by opinions. It's the official outcomes that the list will reflect. So because Natasha has a victory over Michaela, even if it's one that I don't think she deserved, that's just my opinion. In my opinion, Michaela is a better fighter than Terry, and she proved she's a better fighter than Natasha, but she was robbed of the victory. Where Terry Harper couldn't go the distance with Sandy Ryan, Michaela did, and not only did she go the distance with Sandy, she beat Sandy. Though she didn't officially beat Natasha Jonas, she didn't officially do it, and she hasn't been a champion at more weights than Terry Harper, thus she's ranked behind her, though I think that could soon change. Though momentarily, Terry is ranked at number 6 and Michaela's ranked at number 8. Adding to the overall awkwardness of this update, Sandy Ryan, who was previously ranked at number 10, she falls off the list due to the reemergence of both Terry Harper and Michaela Mayer. And while she did beat Terry, Michaela beat her.
Per the rules that govern the list, no fighter coming right off a loss, absent of a world title, is allowed to maintain a rank. The list is only for winners and only for champions. Sandy Ryan is neither.
Not right now. Obviously, that can change. Ellie Scottney, Unified Super Bantamweight Champion. Ellie Scottney, who was previously ranked at number 9. She falls off the list as well. This moves Unified Light Flyweight Champion of Mexico, Jessica Neri Plata, down to number 9. And 2-division Unified Bantamweight Champion Dina Thorsland down to number 10.
In the most danger of being bumped off.
Told you, this was going to be an awkward update, but the hierarchy of thought is both Terry and Michaela are more accomplished, at least momentarily, than Ellie Scottney. Ellie is young and has plenty of time to catch up. We'll say that if on your own pound-for-pound list or someone else's, the names are arranged slightly different, I would understand. This is a very awkward update.
If some of you feel that Michaela should be ranked ahead of Terry, or maybe she should be ranked ahead of Alicia Baumgartner, I see where you're coming from.
If you feel that she really won the Natasha Jonas fight, and as a result of that, she should be ranked ahead of her, I see where you're coming from, I understand.
And I wouldn't argue.
These are the current updates to the current Ring IQ pound-for-pound list, and you can make of that what you will. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, Ryan Garcia said, Eddie Hearn is another man that worships himself. All he cares about is making money. Your own fighter got caught with peds, Conor Benn. He still tried to make him fight after he tested positive. I cannot wait till the trial. They're all gonna look stupid.
You look stupid.
Sounds stupid. You're bringing up Conor Benn to say what? Say what? That Eddie Hearn is promoting a fighter that's doping? We could say the same thing about you and Oscar.
Is your word supposed to be worth more than his because of what an upstanding citizen you are? What an outstanding guy you are?
You bring up Conor Benn's doping case in a negative as if you don't have one of your own. Are you so drunk you have no situational awareness? So high on whatever you're high on? You don't realize that whatever you're saying about Conor can also be said about you. So what sets you apart? You either want us to believe that you're both innocent or you're both guilty. Because if you're arguing about how guilty Conor is, he's no more guilty than you are, and his story sounds the same as yours.
Dumbass.
Ryan continued, he said I was cracked out. How could I fight like that for 12 rounds? Drop Haney. When Haney lost, you turned your back to Haney. Eddie is cursed. Look at your promotional company losing against Frank Warren. AJ just lost. You're a fake person.
So when you lost to Gervonta Davis by way of knockout, were you cursed?
If anybody was under the impression that Ryan was cracked out or crashing out in the build-up of the Devin Haney fight, it's because of Ryan. It's because of how he was behaving. Staying up late, doing spaces, sounding inebriated, sounding like he was drunk, unless he was faking it.
But Eddie's the fake one.
I mean, Eddie Hearn didn't arrive at that conclusion by himself, and it wasn't just Eddie Hearn that thought Ryan is crashing out due to how he's acting in the build-up of the fight.
You were the one telling people you were slamming down beers in the build-up of the fight.
And didn't he say that he was high the night of the fight? Didn't he say that?
So that you can get upset people believed you.
Don't you want people to believe you're innocent too? Out of all the dumb things Ryan Garcia says, what is it exactly that he wants people to believe? He said, every expert understands I never took peds knowingly.
That's a lie.
It seems like you and the Haneys underestimated me so bad that you can't wrap your head around the fight, and neither can the Haneys.
It seems like you can't wrap your head around the fact that you tested positive for a banned substance, and a lot of people don't believe you.
And now look what has happened. It seems like you both can't catch a win.
So often in the boxing sphere, when either Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia are brought up, people treat it like it's an either-or situation, like you either dislike Ryan or you dislike Devin. I dislike them both.
You're a cheater, and he's a bitch.
You're a crash out, and he's a pussy.
There's no reason for me to believe anything that Ryan Garcia says when his story changes so often. Even his explanation for how the Austrian got in his system, he went from blaming the Haneys and blaming Victor Conti and blaming Vada to blaming Scooter and blaming Zab Judah.
There's no reason for me to believe anything that Ryan Garcia says when his story changes so often.
The only people that believe Ryan, quote-unquote believe Ryan, are Ryan Garcia stans that have homoerotic fantasies about him.
And it's not even that they believe him so much as they don't mind if he cheated because they have homoerotic fantasies about him.
The ones that don't have homoerotic fantasies about him but still go up to bat for him are bigots and racists, like he's a bigot and a racist.
They're just in a closet about it. So when they see him saying the things he's saying, the things they're often thinking, he suddenly becomes a hero for it.
There is nothing upstanding about Ryan Garcia. He's not a stand-up guy. This guy said he'd dig up a dead man, bring him back to life so that he could unalive him. You know who he was talking about.
It's a sensitive subject, but not to Ryan, because he's not an upstanding guy.
I don't care how much you dislike Bill and Devin, and you can dislike them for whatever reason you dislike them. Just don't expect me to come around to your way of thinking, because you're weaker than I am.
That's why you need me to believe whatever it is you believe. You want me to validate it for you.
And I won't. They love those videos where I'm laying into the Haneys for behaving like a couple of pussies and a couple of weasels. They love those videos, but they don't like these.
Bitch.
He says that every expert knows that he never knowingly took performance-enhancing drugs. Victor Conti is an expert, and he thinks you did.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to listen to Victor Conti because he works with Devin.
So we don't listen to Victor Conti. Memo Heredia, who doesn't even like Victor Conti and has been at odds with him for years, he's an expert in the field too, and he thinks Ryan cheated.
Ryan took performance-enhancing drugs.
Andre Vord thinks the same thing. He thinks Ryan took performance-enhancing drugs not necessarily to enhance his performance, but to try and make the weight all the same. Andre thinks you took those drugs deliberately.
And that's still cheating.
You're a cheater. And the only high-profile victory you've amassed in your entire boxing career is tainted. It comes with an asterisk on it.
You're not a good fighter. Look at how he looked with Emmanuel to go. Look at how he looked with Oscar Duarte.
That if you beat Devin Haney fair and square, all that really means is Devin can't be as good as we thought he was because he lost to this schmuck.
He lost to Ryan, and Ryan sucks.
If he doesn't, after he comes back and his ban is lifted, let him amass some more high-profile victories over more high-profile opponents so he can prove he is who he says he is. It doesn't even have to be about Devin.
Forget about Devin. Forget about the rematch. Don't give him one.
Fight somebody else and do what you did to Devin to somebody else, and somebody at your own weight. Because for all of this talk I've been hearing about Devin being a weight bully for campaigning at 135 and campaigning at 140 while rehydrating very heavy, Ryan did the same thing. It's even worse with Ryan because Ryan is bigger than Devin.
Rules for thee, but not for me. Special privileges on the premise of Ryan being a pocho.
Like you're a pocho, right?
Los hispanos plásticos.
Pocho solidarity. Joe no sabo culture, which is no culture at all.
You guys are disgusting.
They're not like us. They're not like us.
They have an identity crisis. We don't.
I care about your pocho party. I don't want to go.
Pocho solidarity. Give me a break.
It's the reason anybody even would try to defend Ryan. Stand by him. Stand beside him.
Enjoy him while he's here, and enjoy it while it lasts, because nothing does.
He's gonna ride that scooter for as long as he can. Sooner or later, he will be confronted with someone who he cannot beat, and there's no way around it. That is, unless he crashes out completely and walks away from the sport early, which I don't rule out.
I'll be here for both.
And I like either scenario, because Ryan is not a good ambassador for the sport. He sets a bad example, and I don't want younger generations of fighters taking their cues from a piece of shit like him.
A scumbag.
He's garbage. And so are you. That's why you support him. Garbage of a feather flocks together.
Shitty people smell like shit in any kind of weather.
He's trash, and so is his father, and so are you, and your parents.
Your father.
Trash. Your opinion doesn't count over mine because I'm better than you at everything you try to do.
Jesus Christ.
You're here to listen to me. No one is here to listen to you.
I matter, and you don't.
Jesus Christ.
Among the many things Ryan Garcia said, Ryan made the recommendation that he would love to fight Teofimo. I may fight in Dubai or Japan. I'm not going to stop. I want to bring it to the whole world. I'm going to go where the love is at.
That is a victory that could help to legitimize Ryan Garcia. There's an area of opportunity there because Ryan is taller and longer than Teofimo. He's not actually a better boxer, but he is a bigger one.
Right?
Teofimo's at his best when he's hanging back and setting up counters, but if he has to come forward and he has to give chase, he's vulnerable, he's hittable. He's not the same fighter on the front foot that he is on the back foot. In a situation with Ryan, well, he would have to be on the front foot. He would have to close the distance because Ryan is taller and longer.
Are you saying that Ryan Garcia might beat Teofimo Lopez?
Saying anything is possible because Teofimo is a fundamentally flawed fighter. He's more limited and has been more limited than people realize.
After one or two high-profile victories for Teofimo, it's clouded the boxing community's judgment as to just how limited he is when it's right in front of your face. The guy's not the same coming forward as he is hanging back. And with Ryan, he would have to come forward because staying on the outside is not an option. Against a taller, longer fighter, for a shorter, stumpier fighter, staying on the outside, you're a sitting duck out there. They can hit you comfortably with straight punches.
You gotta come in behind their jab, you gotta slip their jab.
Get in close and do the business. And Teofimo has shown an inability to do this effectively. So him versus Ryan is an intriguing fight.
Ryan's still with Golden Boy, Teofimo is still with Top Rank, but Golden Boy and Top Rank have a decent enough working relationship, at least better than what they have with Matchroom.
Make it a joint pay-per-view for the coming year. Have the pay-per-view on both the ESPN Plus and DAZN platforms so you can market it to that many more people, that many more subscribers on ESPN and on DAZN. The fight will have a decent enough profile with the boxing fans that actually spend money.
Not these bums online.
Forget them. The only issue, I think, is the weight. The weight at which the contest would take place. Teofimo is a reigning champion at 140 pounds, but Ryan can't make 140 pounds, and Ryan doesn't seem concerned with fighting for belts, likely because in fighting for belts, you have to make the weight.
This is a part of what makes Ryan a bum.
Unless he gets to bend the rules and accommodate the situation for himself to a gross extent, he's not actually a good fighter. Ryan never made 140. All he did after he got knocked out by Javante was bring up 135-pounders, seemingly to 140, while he himself never made it. Emmanuel Tago, Javier Fortuna, those 135-pounders. I think Oscar Duarte was too.
But check the weight at which those contests took place. Ryan never made 140.
It's an issue. The weight at which the contest would take place with Teofimo, that's an issue. Ryan would likely want it somewhere north of 140 pounds, presumably at a catch weight, though it wouldn't be for a belt.
You could still sell it, even without a belt.
But they have to agree to a weight. And because Ryan is a weight bully of sorts, I mean, they talk about Devin being a weight bully, but Ryan is right there along with him because Ryan's bigger than Devin, having campaigned at the same weights as Devin. Better still, the weight has to be sorted.
And if it is, you can sell this.
Teofimo is doing his best to stick his nose so far up Team Canelo's ass he can smell what they had for lunch.
He wants to be trained by Eddie Reynoso. I do think that's a good idea. He's sucking up to do it, brown-nosing to do it.
If he can get Eddie to train him, that might help to patch up some of the holes we've seen in the past. It's intriguing.